Well, I think the Northern Highland fisheries are in very good shape. I personally fish in that region a lot myself. It's one of my favorite places to go fishing. Catch rates are good, and the fish are good to eat for the most part. There are some lakes up there that have mercury problems, but for example, if you like a nice 16 to 18 inch table size walleye, no problem. A few years ago, one of my graduate students did a project comparing angling catch rates on lakes that had been speared and lakes that had not been speared, and actually anglers do much better on the lakes that have been speared. So, and I think it's because of the careful management. Those lakes just receive more care. So they have special management regulations. People are sampling them. There's better science. They're looking closely at them. So, ironically, if you were picking a lake to go fishing, you would probably do better on one of the lakes that had been speared in the last few years. Science proceeds by making predictions and testing them, and that one turned out to be wrong. So it's simply not happened. Those apocalyptic predictions were wrong.
We have shown, and biologists all agree, that you can spear fish during the springtime as long as you have appropriate regulations in place and you establish a quota and you stick with that quota, which is exactly what the tribes have done.
We were just named one of the best of the Midwest for Midwest Living's vacation destination guide, and it's just the inquiries and everything else that are coming into the office are increasing and doing incredibly well. So I think the tourist economy is going in the right direction, and more as the word gets out, I think that we'll only have more coming to the area.
I think as the economic fears over treaty rights subsided, a new boogeyman surfaced, the Crandon mine. And I think some of the treaty protesters looked at the landscape and saw that maybe the only thing standing between them and what would have been the largest sulfide mine in North America was Indian treaty rights. So it was pretty ironic and I think made for some interesting political bedfellows.
I think for a lot of those folks, they always realized that they were both after the same thing anyways, which was to preserve the natural resources. So from the tribe's perspective, maybe not so ironic. It was more like, we knew this was coming anyways. From the hate groups, if you will, the people who seemed to kind of fester in that hate, I think they were the ones who would have called it ironic and had the most discomfort.
This isn't an Indian issue, nor is it a white issue. It's everybody's issue. Everybody has to take care of that water. That water is the second largest spirit in the world, and the women are the ones that are the keepers of that water.
There were some devout environmental individuals who opposed the mine for natural resource reasons, environmental reasons, but because of their role in the treaty rights conflict, took a longer time joining the Crandon mine fight because they had been on the side of hate and the side of anti-treaty rights, who now had to then come to the side of the tribal side.
It took 30 years, but the Ojibwe, as part of a grassroots effort, along with some other tribes and some non-Indian environmental groups, were able to block the mine. And actually, the Potawatomi and the Mole Lake wound up purchasing the mine to prevent the site from ever being developed. That, I think, was a really significant legacy of the treaty rights struggle. Along with Act 31, the educational mandate that requires that all school children in the state learn Wisconsin Indian history, culture, and sovereignty. And that really has made a difference.
The mission of Intercultural Leadership Initiative is to bring students together to reduce the racial tension in the schools by having them experience intercultural experiences through activities that are culturally based, both from the American Indian perspective and what I'll call the Caucasian perspective, because I don't like the term white.
In ILI, we have homeroom meetings, which are every Wednesday between second and third hour. And we usually have freshman, sophomore, and then junior, senior. And we get together and we play games and stay active, which really helps the diversity in our school. And then we have, on Wednesdays after school, we have ILI after school meeting. And then we have stuff we work on, like projects, and we also play games, and we have attitude of gratitude before we eat, which helps us be thankful for what we have in life and keep our outlook positive. And basically we're there to have fun and make a difference.
Oh, so we're raised to like kind of think there's going to automatically be racism in high school. Like we kind of put up like a block so we don't get hurt. Like when I first got into high school, I would not talk to any Caucasians because I didn't really know what to think about them and I didn't know what they thought about me. And I might look white, but like they knew I was from Flambeau because I asked someone how they knew I was from Flambeau, and they said the way I talked, I have an accent, and the way I walked. I'm like, I never noticed that. Like, it kind of shocked me.
Nobody owns anger, and so part of what we've tried to do in ILI is to help to try and break that cycle, to try and help people have those one-on-one personal real live experiences so that they can decide for themselves, start to make their own decisions based on their own experiences, not on what somebody else has told them. And I think that a lot of times that in itself is hard too, because we've had students who have come to the conclusion that what they were learning at home was all wrong. Until we really embrace the history that's happened here, we're not going to ever really heal.
I think ILI has really helped integrate the cultures and the races so it's more accepting and we accept each other.
Well, bonjour, welcome to Waswaganing.
Waswaganing, the recreated Ojibwe village that I have, that was the whole idea behind it, was to build something that represented the Ojibwe culture, the woodland culture, in such a way as that it would be beneficial to teachers. It would be an educational facility that would help teachers to better understand who we were by seeing, by actually being able to touch, by going inside the lodges. And I think it's been pretty effective over the years. We're listed by Rand McNally as being the #1 spot in northern Wisconsin. So